There we go. What's up, everybody? I'm gonna make sure we're live on everything. Um, I'm gonna adjust the camera here. There we go. Cool. All right. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the live stream. I'm going to wait a few more minutes in case anybody's going to be hopping in the live stream. Today we are doing the first starting off with the giveaway information, and then we're going to hop right into what we're talking about today. So on the giveaway, we're giving away a free unlimited race pass for a year to unlimited amount of races, 5K to 100-mile distances, all for free for an entire year. And we're giving away to one person. This is part of our 6-year giveaway, our 6-year anniversary giveaway. And this chair needs WD-40. So we're going to be doing that giveaway, and we did just send an email out to everyone that entered the giveaway. So if you entered the giveaway, check out your emails. We scheduled it to go out at about 11 a.m. today. So check your emails if you entered the giveaway to enter the free race pass for the entire year. We have announced the winner through the giveaway, and then we also decided to give everyone else that entered a prize as well. And so everyone won something, and while one person won the big grand prize, we give everyone else another prize. So our winner, which has been announced through the email we just sent out, her name's Lauren. And do you want to try to pronounce her last name?
Oh gosh, no.
Renderneck. Lauren Winternet. Yeah, Lauren is our winner for our giveaway. So she's going to win free races for the entire year. However, everyone that entered the giveaway is getting has won a prize. And so if you entered the giveaway, check your emails. We did send out a prize to everyone that entered, and that's going to be in the emails. And if you haven't gotten the email yet, be patient. The email is going to send. But some people may have already gotten it whenever it went out earlier. So sometimes it delays on when it delivers. So, yeah. So with that being said, I guess we'll hop right into it. We got Sarah. Sarah, you want to share your background a little bit?
Yeah, so I went to the University of Oklahoma where I did steeplechase there. I actually did cross country, indoor track, and outdoor track, but steeplechase is what I did in outdoor track.
Yeah.
won Big 12s 2 years in a row. Went to nationals, went to USA's for steeple, and yeah.
Yeah. And then she ran the East Texas Ultra 50K. And what did you place there?
I think I was fourth overall,
Fourth.
second female.
Yeah, second female. And then what are you training for now?
The 100K.
100K?
Mhm.
Cool.
In November.
Yeah. So Sarah's a dog. Okay. So she knows her training. And today's a pretty cool episode. So if you've got a job, a family, and maybe 4 hours a week to train, and you still want to show up and be ready for a trail race, an outlast race, an ultra marathon, then this is the episode for you, the podcast episode for you, the live stream for you. And my promise is that by the end of the stream, when you leave, you're going to have a weekly structure that you can implement that will work for you for the next 8 to 12 weeks. So sit in tight. If you're a busy person like myself, you're going to get a lot of value out of this if you just don't know how to incorporate training with having a busy life. So with that being said, I guess a little background on this and kind of our scenarios, because I know maybe you've your current life, or maybe in the past you've had a life to where things are busy and you only have so much time to train. For me personally, so what my typical day looks like is I go to work pretty early in the morning and show up to work all day, and then I go home and then I help with our kids and spend time with my family, and then I go to sleep and then I wake up.
Yeah.
And that's Monday through Friday. So I don't have a lot of time to train personally, and so the only time I have to train is in the morning, and I only have so much time there because I also need to get good sleep, because sleep is very important.
Mhm.
And so realistically, I only have, with my current season of life, I only have a good hour to an hour and a half a day to train personally. Some people might only have a 30-minute window, 45-minute window. Maybe they only have an hour window in that day. And then on the weekends, I do have the opportunity for a little bit more time. I'm able to go run for a few hours on the weekends, pretty early in the morning. And yeah, so I don't have a ton of time to train personally. I can't go out and do 2 to 4 hour runs every day like I used to.
I don't have time for that either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does your schedule look like?
So I actually get up at 4:15 in the morning. My dogs, I have 3 of them. They need to get out and run. So I run them in the morning when it's cooler.
Yeah.
But I only have like 30 minutes in the morning because otherwise I'm going to sacrifice sleep, which I don't want to do.
Yep.
So yeah, I run them in the morning and then I come to work all day, drive home. And then when I get home, I do another like 30-minute run. So I kind of I know I need the distance. So I kind of break it up into 2 runs. It gives me time. And then after my run, then I, take care of my dogs, shower, eat dinner and all that kind of stuff. And then go to bed. And that's basically like my work day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. There's not a lot of, and it's different seasons of life too.
Mm-hmm.
Like right now you live like
an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah. You're driving like over 3 hours a day.
Yeah.
And so, once you get closer, that is going to free up some time.
Definitely.
For me, my time will free up probably when our kids get a little older and they don't need so much because they're so young right now.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be a couple more years till I can put in some serious training.
Yeah.
So, but I'm doing what I can right now. So, anyways, if you have similar life where you have very little time to train, we've learned how to fit in that training into that small amount of time just from our personal experience. And hopefully this will be helpful for you today. So I guess we could just kind of hop right into it. So the first thing I want to cover are the principles of 4-hour-a-week training. And I want to say this, the whole 4-hour-a-week training is kind of metaphorical. It's not exactly, if you only have 4 hours a week to train, these are the principles to follow. It could be if you only have 6 hours a week to train or 8 hours a week to train, whatever your time is. If you only have a limited amount of time, these principles will apply to you. So, yeah, if you only have 4 hours a week to train, here's some of the principles that we're going to touch on. So, first thing I want to cover is these perfect training plans you see online don't work for everybody. Have you seen the templates? Have you seen those? Like the training templates of like, training for your first
Marathon.
sub 25 5K or
Yeah.
marathon.
Mhm.
And then it has this like, it's a template. It's like Monday through Sunday. And it has like, run this many miles, do this, do this, do this. Let's talk about the reasons why those don't work very well for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So, the biggest thing I see is number one, they're not customized to people's personal life schedules. They might have go run 12 miles on Wednesday, but what if you don't have time to go run 12 miles on a Wednesday?
Yeah.
Then how do you switch that around without putting too much hard mileage too close together? If you can't run 12 miles on Wednesday and you push it to Thursday, but maybe Friday you have another big run, then you're putting two difficult runs back to back, increasing your likelihood of injury.
Yep.
What are some problems you see with like the copy and paste? This training plan fits everybody.
Well, basically, like, they don't know your stress level or how your body's going to be feeling that day. You could be up all night with a screaming kid, and you don't sleep, and all of a sudden you're having to do a 12-mile run, and your body is just completely worn out and done. Like, that's not something you want to go do. Maybe you want to switch that with like a shorter run because your body is just dragging. And when you have that stress level, it's going to cause inflammation in your body and all that kind of stuff. And that longer run just may not be working for you. So they don't know what's going on in your life either.
Yeah. So these training plan templates just really aren't a good fit for a lot of people just because everyone's life and scenario is so unique. So the three things that actually matter when it comes to training, hypothetically 4 hours a week, it could be 6 hours a week, 8 hours a week, possibly even 2 hours a week. 2 hours a week could be pretty intense if you only had 2 hours a week to train. I don't know.
That'd be difficult.
Yeah, but the three things that actually matter if you have a low amount of hours per week, and our opinions on these principles might differ, and we'll discuss any of that, which is cool with me. But if I only have a certain amount of hours per week, let's say I do only have 4 hours a week, well, I'm going to split that up into, let's just say I split that up into 4 days. Okay. So if I only have hypothetically 4 hours a week and I only have 4 days a week to train, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to allocate an hour to an hour and a half for the long run, sometime in the week. I'm gonna allocate the other 3 runs to be about 30 to 45 minutes each. In those 3 other runs, I'm gonna make 2 of them kind of easy runs. I'm gonna make one of them a get stronger, harder run. So one run that's like hills or tempo runs or runs, maybe like a track workout run, like a harder day. So essentially what it would look like is I would have 2 easy days, one harder day, and then one long day. If I were to split that 4 hours up, that's how I would do it, to where I'd have 4 runs within all, and all of those would fit within 4 hours. And so I would have, 30 to 45 minutes easy runs, 2 of those, 30 to 45 minute a harder run, tempo, hill workout, whatever, and then my longer run, about an hour to an hour and a half max. And that's what I would do if I had 4 hours. And I would kind of follow that principle framework for low hours of training per week. How would you do 4 hours a week?
I would definitely keep like my long run to an hour and a half.
Yeah.
You need a long run, especially if you're training for anything. You have to be able to do a long run, anywhere from, even if it's just 8 miles to however many.
Yeah.
You have to get some mileage in. And then I would do one of the days like a light speed day, so where I go to a track and I do 200s or 300s or something to get that turnover, that power. And then I would do just like a distance day, not necessarily like easy, but like maybe closer to like your threshold pace. So I would do like my threshold day, and then I would do my light speed day, and then I would do like a harder workout, and then have my easy day, and then my long run. And that's kind of how I
Yeah.
would break that up.
Yeah. So pretty similar principle. So would you say you'd have you have your long run, your fast day, and then you'd have like a threshold day and then an easy day?
Yeah. So yeah, I would start the week, like let's say Monday, I would have, like my threshold day, right? And then the next day would be my light speed day, and then a hard workout, easy and long run.
And for threshold, can you explain that to people that don't know what threshold is?
So threshold's like, it's not your easy run, but it's not like your tempo. It's kind of like an in between. So like, let's say you run, 7:30, 7:45 is like your easy day. Well, maybe you're running like 6:40 to 6:30s. And then your tempo day is like your 6 flat and under kind of day.
Yeah. The feeling I could describe threshold is it's just one step above your easy day. So like if your easy day is just like casual conversation, like you're chilling, you can talk, it's a step above that to where there's a little bit more labored breathing. It's not hard, but it's not just like a jog.
Yeah. Your heart rate gets up.
Yeah. So that'd be a good threshold.
I think your heart rate should be in like the 160s. 160 for that.
Yeah. And I mean, the heart rate's a whole other conversation too, because it's, you go your age minus 220 is your max heart rate. And then from there you get your average.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And it varies by person to person too.
Yeah. I need to get a whiteboard in here so we can draw out heart rate and all that. And the biggest thing I want to emphasize is that consistency beats hero weeks. So let's say you do really good 1 week, and then for, I don't know, 3 to 6 weeks, there's not really much going on. It is much better to be consistent each week than just have your once every 3 to 4 weeks where you do really good. For me, and what I recommend everybody is that consistency in your training is going to be the hero weeks or the hero days. So if you do really good 1 week and you freaking crushed every run, every workout, you did your maximum amount of time, and it was just a good workout week, but in the next 36 weeks, you just kind of lag. That's not, that one hero week's not going to carry very far. And so it's good to be consistent with your workouts, your runs, your long runs, and consistently build that. So I don't know if you have anything on that, but.
Yeah, I mean, just stay consistent too. And it's based on like effort. So, you might have where 1 week 6:45 feels easy, and then the next week like 7:30 you feel like you're giving that same effort, but you're going like 7:30 pace. The effort is still there. Like the effort output is still there. But maybe you need to like taper your training to where, you do have like a plateau of times and then start dropping your times down. But maybe 1 week you're just feeling really good and then it is.
Get after it.
But yeah, you get after it. But just to stay consistent with your training, don't go super hard one day and then, I'm going to take the next 3 days off. Like that's not going to do anything.
Yeah. And I'll say this too. So this is kind of like next level training, but if you're very consistent for 3 weeks, for that 4th week, if you want to take it easy, a lot of pros do that. So a lot of professional athletes, they'll go 3 to 4 weeks of like building up their consistency, their mileage, and then like four weeks in, they'll dip down in mileage. So they're not running as much mileage. The intensity is easier. It's like a recovery week. Mm-hmm. And then the next 4 weeks, they ramp it back up again. And it ends up looking like a roller coaster that goes up and down, but it continues to go up. And it's a little bit next level in-depth training there. But just stay consistent is the biggest thing. And then you can increase your intensity or your volume every, if you're increasing it for 3 to 4 weeks and then want to take a rest week, that's cool. That rest week, you're still running and training. It's just lower intensity, lower volume, and then you build it back up for another 3 to 4 weeks. So it looks like this. It's like up, down, up, down. that might be a little next level for some
Yeah.
people, but I don't know. All right. So next thing I want to talk about is building three concrete templates that can kind of copy and paste that you can use for whatever you're training for. So we're going to cover number one. If your goal is to run your first trail 5K or 10K, we're going to give you step by step how you can train for that if you only have a few hours a week or however much time to train. Number two, if you want to do your first Outlast, which is one 5K route for 6 hours, so 18 miles. If you want to do your first Outlast event, if you want to do a half marathon, if you want to do a marathon, we'll discuss how to train for that with low amount of hours per week. And then we'll discuss number three, if you want to do a longer trail race or do an ultra marathon, how to train for that with low amount of hours per week to actually train. So we're going to cover all three and kind of give you guys some templates that you can use in your life and then apply it to your training. So most coaches would charge you $400 a month for this. We're giving it away for free. So I guess I'll hop into one of the first ones. So if I was training for my first 5K or 10K and I love the squeaky chair. If I'm training for my first 5K or 10K trail run and I only have a few hours a week to train, this is what I would do. I would start off with doing, let's just say you have 4 hours a week to train, for example. When I see 4 hours a week to train, I see an opportunity to do, I think mathematically, you would have the ability to do 4 45-minute sessions and then one 30-minute session, because 45 minutes a day times 4 is 3.5 hours plus 30-minute session. Yeah. So if you have 4 hours a week to train and you're trying to do your first 5K or 10K, this is what I would recommend. If you're starting out fresh, no training at all, the first goal is number one, building up consistency, but also building up your strength and your leg muscles with your endurance. So how do you do that in simple terms? So number one thing I would do is I would do a 30-minute walk/jog 4 days a week starting out. So like every other day, I would go out and do a 30-minute walk and jog. So go out Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, and I would do maybe walk for 5 minutes, run for 1 minute, walk for 5 minutes, run for 1 minute. If you can run the whole thing, go for it. If you can't, you can mix it up with a walk and a jog. The next week, I would do the same thing, but put them all next to each other. So I would do a 30-minute run and walk the second week, 30-minute run or walk, 30-minute run or walk, 30-minute run or walk. And I would do that for 5 days during the week, the next week. So you're doing the same thing. You're just adding on 2 extra days, 1 or 2 extra days. And then the third week, I would start implementing more running than walking. So I would up my run from, if I was walking for 5 minutes, running for 1 minute, I would up it to 2 3-minute run and maybe a 3-minute walk. So this is a very long process. Notice the consistency. Notice the detail. The reason it's a slow ramp is because I'm trying to give you advice where you can avoid injury. Okay. This might be a very conservative approach. From there, I would continue to week after week get to where I can fully run for a full 30 minutes a day without walking. Okay. Once I get to that point, I would break it up into doing what we discussed earlier with the principles of making it to where you have one long run on the weekend where you're running for an hour, maybe an hour, 15 minutes, hour and a half. You have one day where you're doing really fast interval training or hill training. And then you'd have 2 easy days. And you want to build up to that, but build up in a way that's safe by slowly each week adding runs, adding time to your runs, how much you run. So that's what I recommend step by step if you're doing your first 5K or your 10K. And that, if you do that, that's getting you pretty fit for a 5K or 10K.
Mhm.
Like you can do your first 5K or 10K with very little to no training and just walk the whole thing if you wanted to. If you want to run your first 5K or 10K and do it where you're running the whole time and then you run a decent time, do that training plan I just shared. I don't know if you have any thoughts on it.
I would also, especially like if we're just talking like trail running too,
Yeah.
I would implement like some band work
Mhm.
as well, because trail running is a lot different than road running.
Yeah.
So you use a lot of
Yeah.
like pretty much all the ligaments in your ankles and knees and stuff like that. So I would definitely, I like the training plan, but I would definitely implement like some band workout. Like if you have like one of those athletic bands, tie it to the end of the table, put your leg in it, and you can do, like where you move your leg out and back, just so that you're strengthening the ligaments in your legs as well.
Yeah.
To that, because that really helps with trail running. Like you're gonna need that on
Yeah.
trails.
And I think in the beginning too, like if you're trying to supplement that extra time where you're not running or walking, going off of what you said, if you throw in a little bit of strength training to your legs and your core, that's a good supplement for while you're building up your running or your mileage. So let's say when you first start out, you're only training, let's say like 1 to 2 hours a week. Well, if you really want to go to the next level, you can add an extra hour or two a week where you're doing squats or you're like holding something heavy and you're doing like goblet squats. You're doing sit-ups, you're doing planks, you're doing crunches, whatever it is. You're doing lunges, right? These are all good beginner, easy workouts that start to build some strength in your legs. And that's good to do if you're also just starting with your training and starting running. So,
and they don't even really have to be any kind of like added time to your day. Like you can bring a band to work and tie it to your desk and do it underneath your desk too,
that's a
if
good
you want
point.
it.
Yeah, that's a good
and like
point.
the goblet squats, if you have kids that are kind of like a decent weight, like 15, 20 pounds, you can literally just pick your kid up and do squats, and they think it's a game, and you're not even wasting. You have time to do that and hang out with your kids, and I mean, you could just build it in right with your day. You don't even need the extra time to be able to do it.
If you have kids and you ain't done some goblet squats with them, you're not doing it right.
Yeah, right. Or if you don't have a kid but you have a cat, do it with your cat. It's the whole Lion King effect.
Yeah. Yeah. And we also, so Sam, who works for us, she has a walking pad in her office and she'll get some mileage in while she's working during the day. Mm-hmm. So the walking pads are also a good way to get some time on your feet. Yeah, so honestly, I should do that. I just thought of that. Why am I not doing that? All right. I need to get a walking pad. All right. So that's kind of a sample week for your first trail 5K or 10K. Let's hop into a sample week if you're training for your first half marathon, your first Outlast race, or your first marathon. If you're training for something that's 13 to 26 miles, how do you train for that? If you only have a limited amount of time a week. So assuming that you're already trained enough to do a 5K or 10K, I would start off, if you only have so much time per week, I would start off doing, I feel like this all keeps tying back to our 4-step principle that we shared earlier, but 4 hours a week, you definitely want to make sure you're getting the long run in every weekend on top of your weekly mileage. So like if you're running, 30, 45 minutes a day, you need to make sure once a week you're running for a long time, like running an hour, hour and a half.
I would say
2 hours.
No less than an hour and a half.
Yeah. Yeah. Like if you're about to go run 13, 18, 26 miles, if you're running your first half marathon, you need to run at least like 10 miles before that. If you're running your first Outlast, you need to run at least like 13 miles. If you're running your first marathon, you need to run at least 18 miles before your first marathon. That's what I've always seen and done. I see a lot of people recommend 2 weeks before your marathon, do an 18-mile run 2 weeks before the marathon, and make that be your long run before. That's a rule of thumb I've always seen. And so if you're doing your first half marathon, do 10 miles 2 weeks before. If you're doing your first 18-mile run or your Outlast event, do 13 miles 2 weeks before. And if you're doing your first marathon, do 18 miles 2 weeks before as a long run. And obviously, you don't want to just go from doing your longest run ever, 8 miles, to 18 in a week. You want to build up to that. And so if your marathon is on January 16th, for example, you're running your marathon January 16th, January 4th, 2 weeks before, you need to run 18 miles. But before you even do the 18 miles, you need to make sure each week leading it up to that, you're slowly increasing your long runs. So let's say right now the longest run you've ever done on a weekend is like 6 miles, and you're doing a marathon in a few months. Well, next weekend, do 7 or 8 miles. Next weekend, do 8 or 9 miles. Next weekend, do 9 or 10 miles. It keeps slowly building up to where 2 weeks before the race, you're doing 18 miles. And then build up your long run. Because if you just jump straight from 6 miles on a weekend to 18 the next weekend, and then you just try to consistently run 18 miles a weekend, you might get shin splints.
Yeah, that's not going well.
You might get injured. Okay. I don't know if you have any recommendations there for somebody or a template for somebody who's running their first half marathon, Outlast marathon, if they're only running 4 hours a week.
Yeah, I would say you would need about 45 minutes of running, 30 to 45 minutes of running a day, and then no less than an hour and a half of running. Obviously, when you build up your long run to that 18, you're going to need to be running you're going to need more time to run your long run per weekend. But I would say that you at least need to get anywhere from 30 to 45 miles a week at least to build up to your first half marathon.
Yeah.
That's kind of the kind of mileage that you need per week. And you don't want to skip out on your long run and be like, oh, well, I did, I'm already at 35. I only need to do 10 miles for my long run, when you really should be doing, 13 or 14 that weekend. Don't lower your long run down and don't skip out on it, because you need it. It's extremely important.
Yep. Long runs are what build your capacity for your muscles to be able to go longer while you're running. And they're very important. If you don't do your long runs, then you're going to show up to the race. Halfway through the race, you're going to hit the wall, and it's just going to suck the whole race. And you might get injured when you finish. And so technically, you can finish a half marathon, whatever marathon, with no long runs, but you might walk away injured, and it's going to suck the whole time. So if you want to delay the suckiness of the marathon or the half marathon, whatever it is, if you want to delay how much it sucks, do longer runs on whatever your days off are. So, So, all right, let's get into the sample week for this one's going to be interesting. For a longer trail race / ultra marathon, if you only have 4 hours a week to train, how do you train for an ultra marathon or a longer trail race? Great question.
That is a good question.
Well, I would say you would follow something pretty similar to how we just explained you would train for a half marathon or marathon. The only thing I would add to that is to add resistance during your training. And so, 4 hours a week to train. You're signed up for your first 50K, your first 50 miler, whatever it is. How are you going to do it? Well, resistance. Okay, what do I mean by that? Well, on your runs, maybe you're wearing a weight vest and ankle weights. Maybe while you're at work, depending on what you do for a living, but while you're at work, you have some sort of added resistance during your day where it's almost like a pebble in your shoe. It's like a rock in your shoe, where it's like, it's going to suck and be difficult, but it's so that way you can complete a successful ultra marathon. And so if you're doing a longer trail or ultra race, you would train for it just like you would a marathon or a half marathon if let's say you only had 4 hours a week, but add resistance to your day-to-day. So weight vest, ankle weights, throw those into your run. If you're a dad, pushing a stroller instead of just running without a stroller. Pushing a stroller will do some cardio damage to you in a good way. So, and then if there's a way while you're at work you can do something, do it. Like if you got an office job, walking pad. Now if you're like a firefighter, EMT, police, like I don't know what you could do there, but
work out on shift if you have time.
Yeah. Personally, what I do is during my lunch breaks, I try to go to the gym and do like a strength workout for 10 or 20 minutes every day. That seems to work pretty well. And so I try to fit that in. I'm pretty sure if you're a firefighter, you got your set up pretty well, because I'm pretty sure they have weight or like weights and stuff where they work, and they just all work out in their free time.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, if you're training for an ultra, I mean, make your runs harder than you can than they need to be if you're only doing 4 hours a week. I don't know if you got anything on that.
So I actually stay away from the ankle weights because they pull on your ligaments on your knees and your ankles. And I would do the vest, just to do a vest. It's better to have your load bearing up here than it is on a ligament.
Yeah.
So I would do that, or you can just, whatever vest that you're going to be wearing during your ultra, fill it up with the things that you're going to be running with, like have your 2 water bottles and your water pack and like snacks, like even that extra little bit of weight, like that's going to do some good training. Especially just on like one of your distance runs, because most people don't run with all that gear on.
Yeah.
So that's even good training too.
Yeah.
And then if you can get to a gym, like let's say, okay, I have an hour to work out and you want to do some kind of resisting, get on the bike. Do the stationary bike, but up the resistance, and you can do like 30 to 45 minutes on the bike and get a killer workout on your legs, and it's going to work.
Yeah.
I do a lot of cross training, so I do a lot of biking and swimming. Swimming's great because you can only breathe for part of the time, right? So, but that's another good thing to do too. Like if you have time to go to a gym, get on the bike, or even get on like the row machine, like you're working your whole body and you can up the resistance and just have that as well.
Yeah. And on that too, on the resistance side of training, if you can't get to a gym, or even if you have a treadmill, or maybe you have a giant hill outside your house, but if there's a way where you can practice high intensity in short amount of periods of time, you can get phenomenal workout and a really good output from that during your race. Because if you have a Stairmaster at a gym where you can just freaking hike up the stairs at a pretty high speed, that's going to wear you out after an hour, or 45 minutes, 30 minutes. Another thing you could do too is if you have a hill near your house or something where it's a pretty steep incline, running, and this is very monotonous, though on a good podcast, but just running up and down this hill over and over and over again, that sucks, but that's a good way to do it. And then the last thing would be a treadmill, setting that incline really high, just straight up for a long amount of time. So those are 3 good ways to increase your intensity without having to wear a weight vest if you're doing a flat run. Like if you're on the road and a flat road, wear a weight vest. But if you don't want to do a weight vest, practice incline training. So training on inclines, and that's going to help you out. So,
and you want to make sure that you're not doing that kind of workout every day.
Yes.
Do not do that workout. You don't want to have a weight bearing vest every single run, because then what's going to happen is you're going to end up pounding on your shins, and then you're going to end up with shin issues, and then it's just going to go downhill from there.
Yeah.
So I would say do that maybe once a week. Like if you're going to run with that, don't do it every single day.
Yeah. It's slowly increase your added restraints in your training, slowly add them to your training. So, run with a vest once a week, do that for a little bit, and then maybe throw it on another run or something. And then same with hill repeats or resistance training, whether it's Stairmaster, treadmill incline, running up and down a hill for a while, whatever it is. you don't want to do that every single day because you'll injure yourself. You want to slowly add resistance to your training over the course of a long period of time. And then, 10 weeks in, you'll be a very strong runner, and it's not going to be as difficult on your body because it's going to build resistance slowly over time. So, but yeah, so that's how, if I had to spend 4 hours a week training, that's how I trained for my first 5K, 10K. That's how I trained for my first half marathon or Outlaster marathon event. And then that's how I trained for my first ultra marathon or my longer trail race on 4 hours a week. So, yeah, do you have anything else?
And then if you can, make sure like one of your runs, if you can get to a trail, like get on a trail. And maybe like that's like your easy run, because trail running is very different than road running. You can run easily maybe 6:30 pace on the road, and then you get to the woods and
it's like 8.
You're running like 8-minute pace. The trees may lie about your GPS on your watch, but it is a lot more difficult to run on trails, single track trails, than it is the road. So get on a trail every now and then as well.
Yeah, that's a good idea. My first ever race I did, or my first trail marathon I've ever done, or I ever did, I did no training on the road. Or sorry, I got it backwards. So my first trail marathon I did, I was 16 years old, and I never trained on a trail. I only trained on a road. So I go to this race, and I'm running the race, and I start the race, and I'm looking down at my watch, and I'm trying to go my road pace. Well, it goes pretty successfully for me for the first half marathon. The last 13 miles, I freaking got hit by a freaking train. That's what it felt like. The last 13 miles, I completely crashed because I was trying to go road pace on a trail. And so I learned the hard way that, number one, you have to slow your pace down on trail. Number two, you need to train on trail going into a trail race. It's good to get some trail running thrown into your training. So
absolutely.
Cool. And then the last section we're going to talk about here is common mistakes people make at a low weekly volume with their training. And so, if you're only running a few hours a week, these are common mistakes we see a lot of people make, or that you can make, that's not going to end very well for you. And so, number one mistake I see, and I see this in a lot of like newer, younger runners, is they go hard on every single run.
I was just about to say that. Yeah.
Like when I was in college, there's a guy I know, and this guy went max heart rate every run, every day. Next thing you know, 6 months in, this guy's injured. Dude's out for the whole season, and then he struggles with injury throughout his whole college career because every single run was max heart rate and hard because he was trying to prove something, right? That's the biggest mistake I see. Like, you're not trying to go all out, like breathing hard, about to have a heart attack every single run to be a good runner. That's just going to work negatively, and you're going to end up injured, guaranteed.
Yep.
Do you have anything else on that?
You took the words right out of my mouth.
Okay.
I was like, oh, I already know what this first mistake is. It's going hard on every single run. You don't need to do that.
Yeah.
It's not going to prove anything.
Yeah. So don't be that guy. Don't be the guy. Don't be like that guy where you just maybe you join a running club or you join a running team or whatever. Don't be that guy that tries to look cool and tries to run fast with everybody else every day. You're going to get burnt out, injured. Don't do that.
Because you're playing the long game, not the hero one-run game.
Yeah. And I see that with kids too. You ever see kids start a 5K? They all sprint the first 30 seconds.
Oh, it's so funny. I laugh every single time.
And then they gas themselves out. What's some other? Are there any mistakes you see with people who are doing low volume training?
I would say just again skipping a long run. If you're only at 20 miles a week and then you run, you may run consistently 5 miles for 4 days or whatever. You're like, oh, I already hit my 20. I don't need to do my long run. Don't do that. You want to make sure that you set up like your runs to where you do have that long run. And at 20 miles a week, your long run should be 6 miles. Like, do not build up your miles so much during the week where you lower your long run down, because if not, you go over your mileage.
Yeah, I agree with that. Another thing I see is people not getting the right recovery they need. And recovery is not just like relaxing on a couch. Recovery is sleep and food. And so the real interesting thing about sleep is biologically the only time your body truly recovers is whenever it sleeps. And when I learned that a couple years ago, like the only time my body truly recovers is whenever I'm sleeping, that was a big wake up call for me. Because like in college, when we were running in college, all of the guys on the team would, stay up late and only get 3 to 4 hours of sleep and then show up to practice. And all of those guys ended up getting injured. That's because their body wasn't able to recover. Whenever you're running, you need your muscles need time to recover. Your body needs time to recover. The only way you can do that is by sleeping, or one of the only ways it can do it is by sleeping. And so, making sure you get good rest and sleep is important. Now, if you're like me and you got a baby at home, just trying your best to get as much sleep as possible. Do what you can. But that's a big part of it. And then also food and fuel. So, making sure you're getting enough, number one, calories back into your body. And then the right kind of calories too. And if you're eating absolute trash food on low mileage weeks, then it's going to increase your inflammation in your body, and it's going to be harder to recover. And so if you're eating fried chicken after every single run, you're going to see an increase of inflammation in your body because of the grease and the oil that it's fried in. You're going to see increase of inflammation in the body, and then your body's not going to be able to recover as well. And you combine that with 3 hours of sleep, and you start living like a college student who just moved to college for the first year, you're probably going to end up injured, tired, sore, and your body's not going to be able to build up to where it needs to be. So that's 2 things I see. I'll let you add in on that.
Yeah, fuel is important. Drinking, you cannot go and get hammered on a Saturday night and expect to be able to do a good long run on Sunday. You're going to feel awful.
Unless you're just a really talented 20-year-old college student.
Which 20-year-old, they got some resistance to that. But as you get older, your tolerance for that definitely goes down.
Yeah.
But yeah, what you input in your body is extremely important to not only your gut, but also like Briston said, like your inflammation in your body is extremely important, because if your body's inflamed, you're not going to recover as well. And then of course, sleep also goes into your digestive tract too. The better you sleep, your body's able to digest everything, and it's better for your gut as well. If you're only getting 4 hours of sleep, your gut's not going to feel good either.
Yeah.
And when you have gut issues and you're running, as most of y'all know, you've been running for a long time, gut issues while you're running is not fun. So you want to set yourself up for success that way by what you eat, how much you sleep, and make sure that you're fueling your body with the right stuff.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. In college, there were guys on our team where they'd get just hammered the night before, sleep for 2 or 3 hours, and then wake up Sunday at 6 a.m. and go run 18 miles at 6-minute pace. Number one, those guys are very talented, and if they would eat and sleep right, they would be way better than they were. Uh-huh. So there's people out there that can do it. Good for them. But there are people that are like that. They can't. They're not going to reach their full potential. Yeah, their full potential. And so, yeah. And then let's see. That's a really good mistake. So one of the good mistakes if you're doing your first trail run is never getting on a real trail. That's a big mistake. You need to test and see how much different it is running on a trail versus road before you go to your first trail race. So you need to go hit a trail somewhere. There's a lot of people that I've seen show up to a race, never run trail before, and be like, "Man, my pace is so much slower." I'm like, "Yeah, it's gonna be like that." And so that's a common mistake I see people make doing the first trail race, low mileage.
I don't even look at my watch when I'm trail running.
That's a good idea.
Like, I don't even look at it. I just let it
Yeah.
beep, and I know what mile I'm at, and I just, or sometimes I don't even set my watch to where it's mileage. I just set it to time,
Yeah,
and I just run time on the trail. Like when I take my dogs trail running because they love it, and it gets them quiet for the rest of the day, and it's great. But when we go, I'm like, okay, we're doing 30 minutes today,
Mhm.
you know, and of course, if one of them's not feeling that great on the run, or I can see they're breathing hard, then we cut it short, and it is what it is. But I try to only go for like 30 to 45 minutes on the trail, and I don't even really consider it mileage. I
Yeah.
don't even look at my watch for mileage.
I hate looking at mileage when I'm running, trail running. Like
Mhm.
looking and knowing how many miles I'm at, I hate it because it's always like you might be out on the trail for an hour, but only run 3 or 4 miles, and you're like, dude, like,
Like I know I'm in more shape than that.
yeah, that's discouraging.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things to do is, and it's not always easy to do, it's pretty difficult, but one of my favorite things to do when it comes to training is plan a big loop or a big point to point or even a big out and back. And what I like to do is when I get out to a trail, I'll flip my watch over to where I can't see my watch because out of habit, I look at my watch.
Mhm.
So I'll flip it over so that way I don't look at it. And all I know in my brain is that I'm going to go run this 20-mile loop, or I'm going to go run this 10-mile out and back on the trail. And, or I'm going to have a friend drop me off here and then I'm going to run back. And doing training runs like that, it switches you from thinking, "Oh, I have to do 14 miles this weekend," to I have to complete getting from point A to point B.
Mm.
And when you can change your mindset to point A to point B instead of mileage, in my experience, it has been easier to run on the trail.
Yep.
From my experience, and I'll give you an example. One time I did a 70-mile through hike with one of my buddies, and we were doing 20 to 30 miles a day on the trail for 3 days. And while we were out there, we were going as fast as we possibly could with these 30, 40-pound bags on us. And we were moving, like we were jogging, we were moving, and then we'd stop occasionally to drink water out of creeks or to eat some granola bars on the side of the trail or whatever. But we were doing 20, 30 miles a day. And I would just flip my watch over. And all I knew is that I was starting at this place on the map and I was going to get to this place. And I purposely told my friend, do not tell me what mile we're at. All I knew is it's sunrise. We're going to crush 30 miles today or from point A to point B. And that's all I know. And so that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to get from point A to point B. And when you break it down like that mentally, it's just easier for me than saying, oh, we're going to do 30 miles and every 5 miles we're going to stop. And then and then me knowing the whole time, oh, I have 20 more miles left. I'm freaking destroyed right now.
Yeah, because it becomes a mental game at that point.
Yeah. And you just want to eliminate all mental barriers. And the best mental barrier is just being like, all right, I'm here. I know I need to get here. So let's do it. And throw mileage out the window. Like when you're doing longer stuff, knowing how many miles you're at and how many you have left will crush you.
Mhm.
And it's better just to like turn it off and just go.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, we filled up a lot of the stream. I don't know if you have anything else on having a low amount of time of training per week. If you have any other thoughts or anything, or if you think we hit it all.
I think we hit it all.
Cool. Well, we are going to open it up to question and answer. And so if you have any questions, put them in the chat. Drop how many hours a week you can realistically train right now. So like wherever everyone watching your season of life, how many hours a week are you training right now with your season of life? Me, whenever I was a single dude running around in college, I had 20 hours a week to train. Now I only have like 8 hours a week to train personally. So how many hours a week do you have to train? And can you realistically train that many hours a week for your next race and complete the next race?
I think that's another good thing is realistic thinking as well
Yeah.
on like your distance and what you can run.
Mr. Guy is on here. Mr. Guy shows up every stream. I need your real name, Mr. Guy. Mr. Guy said he survived the OKC Outlast, and my wife went into labor right after I got home. Dang, dude. So you ran. Dude, this guy ran 5K every hour for 6 hours till 1 a.m. Left the race at 1 a.m. Went home, and then his wife went to labor. That is crazy.
That's crazy.
Dude, you would have had to leave the race early if it was an hour earlier. Corey. There he is. Now I can call you Corey, Mr. Guy. All right, Corey. Well, that's wild, man. So I guess y'all have had y'all's baby now. You have a baby that's like 12 hours old, 24 hours old. We had some other comments on the stream. Steven said we need DNF stickers for Outlast. Or if you don't finish, you get a DNF stick. Shane said a whole lot different. So the context is Shane is in a wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's talking about how much different his training is from what we were talking about with like weight training and all that.
Oh, I'm sure it's very different.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting to learn about.
Yeah. And then Mason said he's going down to Outlast this weekend in Amarillo. Mason, you're the reason we're at the location we're at. So thanks to you, man. Amarillo is going to be a big race. I think we'll end up with 200 people. Going back to Mr. Guy or Corey, who had his baby as soon as he finished the race, he had a baby boy. Congrats, man.
Congratulations.
That's pretty cool, man. You run a 18-mile race, finish at 1 a.m., go home, and then boom, your wife's in labor and you have a baby boy.
Just in time.
Good timing. Good timing. That's cool. So you got the medal, you finished, and you had a baby boy. There you go. That's cool.
That's a whole ultra marathon in itself.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I bet you were tired. Did you at least get a chance to shower before the labor, or did you just walk in the door and then boom, labor? All right, we have a few minutes left, guys. So if you have any questions, put them in the chat. If you have any questions around anything we talked about not having a lot of time to train for any races, any questions around that, put them in the chat. Tell me how many hours a week you're running. I want to know. I'm very curious. How many hours a week are you actually using for training? And then questions in general, shoot them over. I'll say this too. There's a guy I interviewed on the podcast a long time ago. He did a 200-mile race, and he had, I think, 4 girls. And he had a family and a full-time job. And I asked him how he did training, and he told me he only ran for an hour a day during the week. On the weekend, he'd do a big mileage weekend, but like he only ran like an hour a day. Training for a 200-mile race, which granted, 200-mile race is really more like a huge hike.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, there's some jogging in it, but like you're hiking.
Yeah.
And so he trained for a 200-mile race off of basically an hour a week. And then on the weekends, he got in as much mileage as he could, but it wasn't like he was out there doing like 50 miles on the weekend.
That's incredible.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, to be fair, though, this guy, too, is also a seasoned person. Like, he's been running for years, so he had all of that base going into it.
That helps out a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. Mr. Guy said he got to shower and lay in bed for maybe an hour, and then his wife told him it was time, and she was going into labor. So dude ran 18 miles, showed up, showered, closed his eyes for an hour in bed, and then boom, his wife woke him up and said, "Hey, we're having a baby." What a night. That's cool, man. Yeah, one of the races I did, so we had a trail race that I was race directing on Saturday, and then my wife went into labor on Wednesday, or we went to the hospital Wednesday. We had the baby Thursday, so I was driving back and forth from the hospital to the race, setting up, and then after I set up for the day, I drive back, spend the night in the hospital. Then I woke up, went back to the race, set up, drove back, and then the day of the race. I woke up off the hospital floor, drove to the race, put it on, came back.
Wow.
So from the race
That's some
directors in,
dedication right there.
yeah, it was pretty rough. Christopher said, that's how my training looks for a local 5K. You're training for local 5Ks an hour a day. You must be pretty fit for your 5K. I saw this meme on Instagram today, and it said, "Hey guys, it's time to lock in for the local turkey trot 5K." And it showed this guy like doing like this David Goggins stuff. It was hilarious. It was like him with the headlamp, like training and running, and it was like so serious. And it's David Goggins in the background, like 1, 2, and it was like, hey guys, like the turkey trot, the local turkey trot's coming up. We need to train for it. Which we should do one in Longview.
We should do one.
Are you gonna be around Thanksgiving?
I think so. Yeah,
You want to do it?
I'll do it.
All right, Longview, Texas, come do a turkey trot with us. We just decided we should. Why not? Because Longview doesn't have one.
Oh yeah, that'd be perfect.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I have a route that's point to point, where you can shuttle people, drop them off, and they run
Oh, perfect.
in the city. It's pretty cool. Yeah. Well, all right, guys. I'm gonna give one more minute, 60 seconds left for any questions, comments, anything, and then we're gonna hop off the stream. So 60 seconds left. For any questions you guys have, any comments. We have a good amount of people on the stream still, so I love answering questions.
I'm surprised nobody has any.
Usually we have like quite a few, but every Monday is our training lab Monday. So like every Monday we talk about training. And so you can kind of expect every Monday we're going to be on here talking about some aspect of training. And then Wednesday is a pretty cool day. We're going to have people come in and share their story. And, we're going to have guests come in, fly in, drive hours away just to come here on the live stream, share their story. And then we'll cut that up and post it to our social medias and all that. So Wednesday's a cool day.
Yeah, y'all need to stay tuned for that.
Yeah, it'll be cool. This Wednesday, we have a guy driving in from Dallas, Fort Worth, and he's going to be driving 3 hours all the way here to share his story on the live stream, and then he's going to be driving back after that. So that'll be a cool day. Sam, you're in the other room. Sam's in the other room over there. She said, if my weekends are busy and I don't have time for a long run, how would I adjust my week training to make up for lost time and miles? Great question. If you do have busy weekends, I will say, as a person who has traveled a lot in my lifetime, even on busy weekends when I'm traveling, I still figure out a way to get the long run in on the busy weekend. Like if I'm on vacation, if literally it doesn't matter where I'm at, I'll wake up early, and if I got to go run 1 mile around a block of a hotel, I will. It sucks, but let's say you just absolutely can't train on the weekend. Sometimes you might have to sacrifice a little bit of sleep one day to get the long run in.
Yeah.
But let's just say for whatever reason you can't on the weekends, then the best recommendation there would be to have one day during the week where you do get that longer volume in, whether it's in the evening after work, so maybe a late night run, or maybe it's just working up early the day before work and getting a little bit less sleep that day, but still getting the long run in. And so if you have to sacrifice sleep one day a week for the long run, I would say that's okay, because sleep is really a consistency thing, where if you're getting 8 to 10 hours every day and then one day you get 6, I think you'll be okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
I say just wake up super early and get it done. Nobody's awake at 4 o'clock in the morning on your weekend.
It's true. Yes. Yeah, so that's my recommendation there. As I say, Al Martinez said, my wife and I are going to join the Outlast in February in Corpus Christi. We've never ran on the sand before and would love some training tips. Great question. So the race that we do on the beach is on hard packed sand, so it feels the same as running on a road, just a little more cushiony. And so like when you see Outlast Corpus Christi, don't think oh, I'm running in sand. You're running on hard packed sand because you're running on the portion of sand that's where the water washes up, and it's pretty flat. And so it's hard packed sand. And I've done tons of training on beaches,
Same.
just running on the hard side. Now, there are beaches where the coast or the part where the water comes up is like super slanted, and that sucks. Because you either have to run in like sand or you have to run in like an angle that's like this.
Mhm.
You don't want to do either. But for that race in specific, we did the race last year. It went phenomenal. Think a big highway with no cars on it. It's basically what you're running on, and it's pretty hard packed sand. And if you just do some road training, like training on the road, you should be fine. I don't know if you have anything else on that.
No,
but
you really don't need much of a different training regimen when you're running on that stuff because it gives a little bit, which is great, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's not hard to run on at all.
Yeah. Christopher said that did y'all do the drawing for the 6-year giveaway? Yes, we announced at the beginning of the stream the winner. Check your emails. If you haven't gotten an email yet, you will get one today. But check your emails. We announced the winner, and we also decided to give everybody else a prize too. So everyone that just entered the giveaway got something too. And so we gave away the grand prize, and then we also gave away some other prize. So if you did enter into the giveaway, check your emails. You'll be good to go. Christopher also said that he was there this past year. The sand was pretty solid, but the wind was brutal. Yes, the wind this past year, because I also went to that race. The wind at our last Outlast event on the beach, the wind was like rough. It was freaking like blowing. Luckily, I want to say, and Christopher, correct me if I'm wrong, but I want to say it was just blowing at an angle the whole time to where like you were running down the beach and then running back and then it was blowing against you. I want to say that's the case, but I also want to say I think going out, you had it to your back the whole time, but coming back, it was in your face the whole time.
No.
I think that's what ended up happening. One of the two. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, Christopher, that I ran that race too, Christopher, and I love the beach. I love the views. I loved the amount of people we had out there. But I do remember the wind was very brutal. And there ain't nothing you can do for wind training, man. There's no wind training. You just got to deal with it. So anyways, all right, guys. Well, I think we're about to conclude the stream. So thanks for tuning in, guys. We do this every day, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. We hop on the stream, film for an hour, and then we share that content on some social media and stuff. So
And y'all just got some free training tips.
yeah, you got free training value. Any coach would have charged you $1,000 for that, maybe more. So Christopher said we had the wind down and into the wind back. Yep, like running like a parachute. Yeah. So last year when we did the beach race, we had the wind pushing us when we started. So the first mile and a half, we had the wind to our back, and the last mile and a half was straight into the wind, and it absolutely sucked. Yeah, that was rough. I was out there. It was fun, though. So, all right. With that being said, guys, we're going to log off. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central. We're going to do our live stream tomorrow. And so I hope to see you guys then. With that being said, have a great day, and go get your training runs in. So.